WWE Bash in Berlin predictions time. Let's first take a look at SmackDown before Bash in Berlin because they have some announced matches. They got 2 matches that are going to be taking place that we know of. And is it just me? Or is like the go homes now, they are really just the pre-shows because Triple H doesn't want to have a large card. I don't know how I feel about it. Comment below. What do you guys think about the card? How they stack these things up now where it's like 5-6 matches total and that's it. The first match on SmackDown though is going to be Nia Jax, the women's champion, going up against Mia Yim for the women's championship in a street fight. Mia Yim has been on fire. She's been using kendo sticks left and right, taking out Nia Jax. Since it's a street fight, we're not going to get a disqualification. I wonder what kind of interference they're going to do. I don't think Tiffany Stratton's going to cash in just yet. I think they want to keep that story going for probably a couple more months. Now, you might see Tiffany get involved and come to the aid of Nia Jax. I would then suspect too, because Bayley is not in the title scene right now, she would come to the aid of Mia Yim. She would almost have to because Mia Yim's been coming out there to help Bayley out for so long. So I think Nia Jax is going to retain on SmackDown. She just got the title. They want to keep Nia strong, but you don't want to bury Mia Yim. You want a really strong showing. I think Mia Yim is going to just go blasting with kendo sticks and kind of get her revenge. I think ultimately though, yeah, Nia is going to retain, but you're going to have like a big schmozzy finish there where she gets the 3 count and then Bayley's coming out, Tiffany Stratton's coming out, they even the odds, and then you're left with what presumably will end up being a tag team match, maybe on SmackDown down the road. The next match on SmackDown is going to be the United States Open Challenge with your champ, LA Knight. Yeah. This is going to be interesting because now for the Open Challenge, I got 2 names that I think could work. One, Logan Paul. Now, I don't think Logan Paul is going to come back and do an open challenge just to lose because LA Knight just got the title. And by the way, the pops for LA Knight right now on SmackDown are absolutely insane. LA Knight's not losing this title anytime soon. Nah. If Logan Paul came back, yeah, sure, he gets his rematch, but is he really gonna lose once again and then just be gone for several months? I don't know. I don't think that would really work. The main name that I think is going to come back and challenge LA Knight is AJ Styles. I think if you got AJ Styles still on SmackDown, he's gonna come back. He lost to Cody. He's been off TV for long enough now. You can bring him back once again as the big heel that he has been, and he could go into another program with LA Knight, and you could do this at Bad Blood, for example, and get like a rematch after this open challenge. I think it'd be really cool to see. Yes, we had the WrestleMania program, but I actually really liked it, and I think they could have explored even more with it. I want AJ also just back on TV, and I think him in the US title scene makes sense. And it'd be cool if they could almost just like trade the belt back and forth a little bit. Maybe hot potato it. So AJ Styles is my pick to come out. Big pop in Berlin on SmackDown, and it would go a long way to help that feud out. It could even end in a schmoz if you want to end in like a DQ brawl kind of thing, but let those guys fight every single week on SmackDown and just have banger matches. So those are the SmackDown picks. Now for the main card for Bash in Berlin, let's look at the WWE Women's Tag Team titles that are on the line. We have the Unholy Union versus Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Unholy Union. Yeah, your faces. You won the belts, your faces, you're smiling around, then your heels again. I don't know. I just don't know. I really think that if Bianca and Jade are going to get these titles back, it's been kind of not great. I haven't found this to be very compelling because I don't know if they've had enough focus on it. And they just keep trading the belts. And I think you do need some faces to go over because the card, we might see some interesting moments here. Bash in Berlin. I think Jade and Bianca are going to win. I think they're going to get those titles back. They just haven't done enough for me for like Unholy Union to get like enough steam, enough heat for what they have been doing. And I think they're just going to trade these titles for a while until maybe they pull the trigger of Bianca and Jade and one of them turns. And then that sets up their singles match probably for WrestleMania, if I had to guess right now. So Jade, Bianca, they're going to win the titles. You get a feel-good moment, Bash in Berlin, possibly to kick off the show. You never know. Where do they go from here after they win those titles? I don't know. I don't know. Because it starts to feel like they've gone through everybody, haven't they? So I gotta go with them winning these belts. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in a strap match. Now we saw on Raw that Drew's in the ring. He's talking about the bracelet once again. Punk comes out this time with the strap and he starts wailing on Drew. Good brawl, good segment, really liked it, and I like how they set this thing up. I'm kind of surprised that they are doing a strap match at Bash in Berlin. I thought they'd give Punk like a little bit more time off and then they would do something at Bad Blood, but then it starts to feel like, okay, we're getting the strap match. Probably probably getting the blow off at Bad Blood if they're going to keep doing this more and more. This one, it's got to be CM Punk. Now, does CM Punk get the bracelet though? This whole arc now has been about the bracelet and what it represents. It's like, it's big, it is bigger than a title belt at this point, ladies and gentlemen. Like, they are using this thing way more than like than a belt gets a storyline. So with that, I do think Punk is going to win, but you are going to be able to then forward the story and get yourself to a third match. Punk's motivation right now is like how personal it is with Drew, obviously, and the bracelet and the representation of that bracelet, and Punk wanting to finally get it back. I don't think he gets it back. I think Punk gets the victory, but he doesn't win the whole thing against Drew McIntyre. It's going to be a bloody mess. I'm excited to see how they pull this off, because a strap match, not terribly exciting, because you are waiting for them to go around and hit all four corners in order to win, which just kind of, you know, you gotta wait to the very end of the match. So it's gonna be about the story they can tell during the whole thing to keep me engaged and keep me interested in it. Punk wins, but I think Drew is going to keep that bracelet one way or another. Then he can come out on Raw and Drew could say, yeah, look at my back, I'm all bloody. And then that's a bad Drew McIntyre. And then Drew could just be like, I still got this thing. You may have beaten me, but you didn't pin me, and I still have what belongs to you. Thus forwarding the story for them to set up maybe a Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood, which I think that PLE would probably need it. And also, if you do something like a cage match or a cell match, then you're going to be able to protect Punk still, if you're kind of concerned about him, you know, going hard and doing a bunch of moves. Because then I can just keep brawling. A lot of this is just a lot of big brawls. But Punk wins, but it's going to set up things further for Bad Blood. Next up, the tag team match, the mixed tag team match. You got Liv Morgan, Dirty Nasty Dum Dum, going up against the Terror Twins. This is a little interesting. Now, we've seen Judgment Day stand tall. We've seen them get beat down. There's been a little bit of back and forth. The Terror Twins are obviously going to win this feud ultimately. Like, they are way bigger. And we've seen like Damian Priest, like we've seen them dispose of Judgment Day pretty easily. Judgment Day, new Judgment Day, they need to win. I gotta say that Liv and Dom are going to win this thing one way or another. Also, they should have the numbers when it's Judgment Day being there at ringside. Like, if the Terror Twins, and this is the thing, if Rhea and Damian Priest win, you don't get much more story, do you? Because in theory, if Rhea and Damian win, they did it, right? Like, I know Damian Priest, he wants to get that Finn Balor match, he needs that, and Rhea would need to get the belt, but that's the big piece here, is like one of the big chapters of the story is them being able to defeat Liv and Dom for what they did. You want to continue the story. In theory, you might want to get this thing to WrestleMania. You might want to push it all the way there, and I think they can if they tell the right story. So because they're going to want to continue this thing, I think you got to have Liv and Dom win. You need Judgment Day to stand tall. You need that moment. Now, you're probably going to tease, if not, you're going to get Rhea doing a riptide on Dom to satisfy the crowd. But I do think you need Liv and Dom to come out strong on Monday night following Bash in Berlin. And then that way they could all stand tall there and say, we defeated you. And it just furthers the story being like, okay, let's get into the one-on-one matches. Let's splinter off a little bit. Maybe they want to introduce some other people into the mix to maybe like keep this thing going. But you still need to get Liv and Rhea one-on-one. Damian Priest and Finn need to go one-on-one. You could even do Damian and Dom one-on-one to be able to get that singles match and make those matches happen at Bad Blood. And then further down the road, you get to Survivor Series and so on. I do think that Judgment Day needs to stand tall, because if they lose, then they just look at a bunch of chumps, and it really will kill off a lot of the story. Liv and Dom are going to win. WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Randy Orton going up against the champion Gunther in Berlin. Randy's promos, like I saw on Monday Night Raw, really good. Long, very long. But it was about Randy telling the story. And you know what? He told an amazing story in that promo about being a champion, about the crowd following him since he was like 19 years old. World champion, multiple time world champion. And I like that Randy was putting over the World Heavyweight Championship, how he won that belt first, the lineage of it, how important it was to him, how he unified that belt and the WWE Championship at one point and became champion again. So he really sold it, and I like that a lot. I think that this match is going to be awesome, and I like that Randy also put up the fact that he is going to be kind of like the underdog. He might even be a little bit of the heel. Like, the crowd's gonna love Randy in Berlin, but Gunther, they're like, he is going to be the favorite no matter what. So you're going to get a great strong match out of this whole thing. I think you get an RKO. I think you get Randy hitting it and Gunther kicking out of an RKO, get that crowd to go insane for it. But I do think ultimately Gunther is going to retain. He's not losing that first title match with the world title. It's a great notch on his belt too, to get a world title victory in Berlin against Randy Orton. What you do with Randy after this is what's very interesting to me, because this is all because of the King of the Ring, and Randy had earned that title match. Where do they go from here? Does Randy go back to SmackDown, or does he stay on Monday Night Raw? I think Raw needs him. If he goes back to SmackDown, I think Randy needs to turn heel and go after Cody. Like, if he goes back to SmackDown, he can't be a face. Got to be doing more with his character. But I love what Randy has done right now with this program. He's made it personal. It's really worked for me, but Gunther is going to retain. And presumably, what is the main event? The WWE Championship match. Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes. Yeah, Cody's not losing. Cody is not losing the title in Berlin. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting to see if Kevin Owens turns heel. That has been a part of the story, which I like. I didn't like the initial setup, but you know what? We're getting there, and they have been teasing it along the way. The finish to this match, I think, is going to be critical for a couple of things. One, does Kevin Owens turn heel during the match? The end of the match, is he going to do a nut shot at the end? Are they going to shake hands and then Kevin turns on him and does like apron power bombs and all of that? Is it going to be that? Is Kevin Owens going to get so frustrated that he lost, that he tried to fight in an honorable way during the match only to lose and then turn on Cody after, to be like, well, I couldn't do it this way, so I'm going to do it the only way I know how, and he becomes the prize fighter out of the match? It'd be good that there's more for Kevin Owens to do after all of this, because as you look at it, sure, Kevin Owens could have turned heel week 1 and it would have been a cool setup, but if he becomes a heel because of the result of all of this, that's interesting too. But it'd be cool then, because if you have a full heel Kevin Owens, you could do the rematch of Bad Blood, kind of like what they did with AJ Styles, where they got multiple matches out of it. But now you have a very motivated heel Kevin Owens doing heel promos. It can further the story and make it a little more interesting. I do think that Kevin Owens turns heel at the end of the match, but I do wonder too that the other nugget in here, everybody, is going to be Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline. And we know that they're going to be going off and doing the Roman thing. Roman is looming. I don't think Roman is going to be in Berlin. I think it's going to be too much, but I think that you could have Solo come out at the end of all this, because Solo did talk about how he still wants to be able to get that championship from Cody Rhodes. So that's still part of his motivation. I think that the match ends and you have these two shake hands and maybe everything is going to be cool, but then you have the Bloodline come out and they start beating down Cody Rhodes. What they could do to make the story interesting is Kevin Owens does not help Cody Rhodes during the beatdown. And that is how Kevin Owens becomes heel a little bit. That also sets up for more stuff. It's like you got to watch on SmackDown to see what happens, where Cody and Kevin Owens, they have a confrontation or something. Because if you could blow it all, you could blow the whole load. You could blow all of it in Berlin and do that way, chair shots, power bombs, and so on. But if you do have the Bloodline involved, maybe at the end, and Kevin Owens just kind of turns his back on Cody, that could work too. Because we've had so many weeks of like Kevin Owens getting destroyed by the Bloodline because he's trying to help Cody Rhodes. Well, maybe he said enough is enough, and he just says like, you know what, you're on your own. You go get beaten down this time. You go get a chair to the face and all that stuff. I'm gonna get powerbombed again through a table for the 10th time. And then Kevin Owens just walks off, and then they could have the confrontation, and then you get Kevin Owens doing the beatdowns to Cody. And that sets up their stuff for maybe Bad Blood. Short PLE, not a lot of matches. Some people like the booking for Triple H, and some people don't. If you want to talk more about that, click this video going in talking about, has the booking been great or has it been a little bit lazy? Let me know. Have a great day. See ya.